.922R compliance is a mystery to most, so we're going to take a look at how to make sure that your AK-47 rifle is 922 compliant. The way the law is read, it's even difficult for a seasoned attorney to be able to interpret. So while this is not legal advice, I'm going to try to give you an explanation on how to make your rifle 922 compliant. Now, to make this really simple, the ATF has a list of 20 parts that are federally regulated under the 922R. The AK-47 has 16 of those parts. You can only have 10 imported parts on your rifle if you want to start changing things and updating your rifle, which especially is a high full capacity magazine, pistol grip, collapsible stock, muzzle brake. Those are the things that you've got to be careful of when you start to add to a rifle that's imported, that's been imported legally since 1990. Now here we can see where the old stock is here, trigger group, magazine, gas piston. These are the things that were switched out of the system to make this 922R compliant. And the list of 20, which I'm going to have that list for you to take a look at, but like I said, there's actually only 15 things on the list. I said 16, but that's if you have a muzzle brake at the end of your rifle. First thing we're going to do, as always, is to safety check the weapon. Remove the magazine, pull your bolt back. It is empty. Fire into a safe direction. Now I have the gun disassembled because what I want to do is go through each of the parts from the list. And we're going to go through the list of 20. We're going to try to do it as quickly as possible, but I think this is very important. First on the list is the receiver or frame, receiver casting, forgings, or stampings. Now this list is on tapco.com under 922R compliance. At the bottom of the page it'll say 922R. You can hit it and it will give you a list and information about all this that I'm talking about. But the receiver is considered the actual firearm part. This is what's regulated. You can get parts, you can get all of these parts that aren't even regulated at all. But the receiver is highly regulated under the ATF and under federal law. Number 2 is the barrel. And that is regulated under, and of course, you know, you have an AK barrel. If you replace this with another AK imported barrel, that's not a problem. But that is number 2 on the list. Number 3 is a barrel extension, and the AK-47s aren't listed to have any kind of barrel extension. This is not a muzzle attachment. This is just a barrel extension, so that's not even a problem. The other is mounting blocks, number 4. And a mounting block, or a trunnion, this is the forward mounting block, and what it does is attaches the frame to the barrel. That keeps it solid together. This is a regulated part, and this is number 4 on the list. There is a rear trunnion right here that fits to the stock, but it's not counted. It's the front forward trunnion, and this is something you're not going to want to replace. It's probably one of the hardest parts to replace on the entire rifle. Number 5 is muzzle attachment. So if you have a muzzle brake, the muzzle brake is number 5 on the list. Number 6 is your bolt, and here we have the bolt, and we have the bolt. Number 7 is the bolt carrier, and this is the bolt carrier. So those are 2 parts that are regulated, and they do come apart. And then the next, of course, is number 8 is the operating rod. Now this is actually the gas piston, but which is number 9. So 8 and 9 are operating rod, 9 is gas piston. This is a gas piston which functions as both. So you just need to, this counts as really as one part, and the operating rod is just disqualified. You can replace this. Tapco does have a replacement gas piston rod, and it fits in nicely. You really need to know kind of what you're doing. You don't want to damage and bend it, so you want to be careful when applying it. I didn't need this to make my rifle 922R compliant because I had enough parts, but I'm keeping this in case this one ever breaks. Next is a trigger housing, which this is just a trigger guard, but there is no trigger housing on an AK-47. There are on other imported rifles, including the SKS. So that's a disqualified option as far as that goes. Now, there is the trigger, and we have the trigger. We have number 11. We have the hammer, number 12, and the Sear, number 13. And I'm going to talk about the Tapco replacement parts for that. They do have a replacement part kit, and it's really very reasonable. I think it's only about $26, $27, and you can replace it. I replaced mine. That's the old, so now I have an extra set if I ever need it. But here is the new hammer and Sear, and then of course the trigger. One thing I want to recommend is the retaining plate. You'll want to, it's the retaining pin plate, and this keeps your pins in line. The old style AK is this shepherd's hook, and it is really a pain in the rear end to work with. So it's not very expensive to add that little retaining plate, and it's very easy to install. I will show you all that when we do the trigger assembly in a later video. Number 14 is a disconnector, and there's not a disconnector on here, so you don't have to be concerned about that. Number 15 is your buttstock, and of course here we've replaced the buttstock with an Intrafuge, Tapco Intrafuge collapsible stock with the M4 style, and really nice system. Number 16 is a pistol grip, and here I have the pistol grip. It's a Tapco Intrafuge as well. Of course I had the whole stock set. This has a really cool little compartment underneath. You can get from Tapco a basic style, the traditional AK style pistol grip like this, and of course it just the buttstock replaces this, and the pistol grip replaces this, so fits right in very nicely. Number 17 is your forearm or handguard, and as you can see here we have the forearm and handguard. Now here's the wood set. It's beautiful. I love wood. If you want to have wood on your rifle, then you can go to Tapco and look at they have replacement US made stocks for your AK-47. They're not very cheap, but that's the price of nice wood. So here we've replaced it with the 922R compliant Intrafuge stock handguard here, and then of course we've replaced this. I do want to show you how easy this is. All you need to do is turn and you pull it out, and that's how you replace it on your wood. I just happen to have an extra gas tube, and so I wanted to leave that one on so I could, if I ever want to switch it back, I can. Number 18 is your magazine. Now here's the old steel AK mags. These things are battle proven. They're hard, they're rough and tough. But if you place a 30-round magazine into an existing AK-47, you are going to be in violation of 922R compliant unless you have the other parts that you need in here. So here is the Tapco, and this is their body, floor plate, and the follower. Each piece counts as one compliance part. So just putting a magazine, US made magazine, Tapco magazine, into your rifle gives you 3 of the 5 parts without a muzzle brake, or 6 parts with a muzzle brake. This gives you 3 parts right here. So those are 3 parts, and those are the last 3. This is 18, 19, and 20. So those are the parts. Now, one of the things you can do, because a lot of people love the steel magazines, which I do too, I like the steel magazines, is to replace the old steel follower with a Tapco polymer follower, and which I have done in this one. Very easy to do. Push pin through, this slides back, your spring comes out in a big hurry, and then you just attach your follower up, and it'll just ride up, and you're in business. Very easy to do that. So if I'm using the stock system, which this is 1, 2, 3 parts, and then I have a trigger system in here that's 1, 2, 3 parts, I'm already over the 922R compliance. I am compliant, and I can add my AK magazine, all steel, or I can use, of course, then I go 3 more parts using this. So now I'm 9 parts over. That's the reason why I didn't go ahead and replace this. Then I would have been 10 parts over. So it's very easy to bring your AK-47 up to compliance. I am going to have this list in the description below for you to look at, but again, you can go straight to tapco.com, read about it. Also on the front sight website, they have a lot of information about the 922R compliance, and he's doing a great job over on front sight. Now, as far as I know, 922R compliance is not being strictly enforced right now. Doesn't mean that they haven't used it in certain instances, but you don't really need to be afraid that someone's going to come to your door and knock and ask to see your AK, SKS, or other imported semi-automatic rifle and ask if it's 922R compliant. But the fact is it is a law, it is under federal regulation. Make sure you check out all the great USA-made 922R compliant parts at tapco.com. They have a network of distributors all over the country, but it's just really a lot of things you can add to your rifle, and this Introfuge stock system is just excellent. In fact, I will be doing a review video on just the stock system itself coming up. I hope this makes it simple for the 922R compliance. It is a complicated subject, but I hope this kind of gets you and leads you in the right direction to keep you 922R compliant. And as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more fun gun reviews and sensible survival. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Have a lot of people say, man, I love the wood. I don't want to get rid of my wood. I want to keep this, I want to